of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky. Mull was astern, rum on the port, egg on the starboard bow. Glory of youth glowed in her soul. Where is that glory now? Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky. Give me again all that was there. Give me the sun that shone. Give me the eyes, give me the soul. Give me the lass that's gone. Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky. Billow and breeze, islands and seas, mountains of rain and sun. All that was good, all that was fair, all that was me is gone. Sing me a song of a lass that is gone. Say, could that lass be I? Mary of soul, she sailed on a day over the sea to sky.
Please be seated. I warmly welcome you, Linda's family and friends, to the Geraldton Crematorium as we celebrate and remember the unique life of Linda Diane Mitchell. We all come together today to celebrate Lynn's life, a thankful remembrance of those moments Lynn brought us joy or influenced us. You come here today as family and friends, united in your loss of this special, patient and caring lady. We honour Lynn in our hearts and hold her dear in our memory. This service is also being recorded and live streamed for those who couldn't share this moment with us. I would like to thank Lynn for giving me the honour of leading her service. My name is Nikki Boys. As we unite in loss and memory, we are reminded of the fragility of life. We remember many of the times that Lynn touched our lives and realised the uniqueness in which she crossed our pathway. May we also think about how our life impacted Lynn. Today we will hear from 3 special people in Lynn's life who have each prepared their own eulogies. I now invite Murray forward to share some of Lynn's special moments with the eulogy he's prepared.
Everyone hear me okay? A big part of Lynn's life was her work life down at the Geraldton port. Linda first started working at the Geraldton port in 2001, sampling with Guille-Harvey Port Services. Linda then moved on from sampling to do some stevedoring work. She had done a lot of work with Mercantile Marine, Lynx, Patrick's, and right at the end, Cube. Linda worked really hard down the port. She never knocked a shift back. Even when it meant finishing a 12-hour shift, she'd nick off to another company and do another 12-hour shift, pulling a 24-hour shift. If the Occupational Work and Health and Safety got hold of that, they would have had a fit. What they didn't know wouldn't hurt them. Naughty Linda. We worked such strange and odd hours down there. We got no roster. We're on call 24/7. First thing that goes out the window is your social life. So work does become your social life. Quite often when we're busy, we're the only people we see outside. And over the years, you do really form some really strong and close bonds with your workmates. And Linda knew everyone. She even liked the bosses. Terry in later years, and before that, her beloved Jed, who sadly passed away in 2017. The last 7 or 8 years, Linda mainly worked with Cube Ports as a stevedore. It was with Cube that she really fell on her feet. That's where she felt at home. That's where she was the happiest. That's where she had a real sense of belonging. Right up to the end, Linda wanted to go to work. It wasn't a job. The job's hot, hard, dusty, boring, tedious, dangerous. It was the people that she wanted to be with all their skills and their talents and their faults and their idiosyncrasies. It was us that she wanted to be with. We were her team, her mob, her tribe. That's where she had a real sense of belonging. Cube Ports performed a productivity review just recently on the rotor boxes, and the Geraldton team come out on top in the state. I haven't got the words to explain how proud Linda was of her team, her mob, her tribe. Every time you work with Linda, you were just one moment away from the next big belly laugh. I remember one night we were doing a fertiliser for Patrick's, and I'd done my best rendition of the Thunderbird puppets getting into a bobcat and driving a bobcat. I don't think Linda stopped laughing till well into the next week. Linda's main job down to port was working on the rotor boxes. She'd be up on the deck of the vessel with a control box, in control of where the cargo was stowed, giving the crane drivers orders and the crew orders. She was a queen. She was a queen up there on deck. She was running the show with her team, with her mob, with her people, where she belonged. When we come into the world, we have nothing. When we leave, all we got's a story. When someone close to us dies, it brings our own mortality into sharp focus. Take pause. and think about your own story and how your story intertwined with Lynn's. Because every time you do that, once again, Linda's with her team. She's with her mob, her people, where she belongs. No more pain, sweetheart. Rest in peace.
Thank you, Murray. Can I now ask Marilyn to come and share her eulogy with us?
Linda Diane Mitchell, born 7th of October 1962 to Barry Charles Campbell and Barbara White, née Francis. Linda had 2 sisters, Deb Booker and Sue Campbell, and 1 brother, Adam Campbell, who couldn't be with us today. Linda is survived by her 3 sons, Clayton and Damon Zanella, as well as Simon Mitchell. Let us not forget the precious granddaughter, Amelia Linda Zanella, daughter of Clayton and Catherine. A beautiful butterfly flooded into town roughly around 1993 with her tiny twins, Damon and Clayton, who were just 2 years of age. Lynn, being a basketballer and tall, was inevitably snapped up by the Hawkes family, mainly due to the Bookers, Jordan and Laura, who played with the Hawkes club. Lynn also played netball for Follies/Aztecs netball club with many of the same girls. After a short time, Lynn and the boys took up residence at the beach cottages in the West End. We all ripped around and helped out with furniture, linen, pots, pans, etc. for them to set up house. Sometime later, they moved to Greenough. Yes, that house, which scared the living daylights out of all of us, but not our Lynn. The boys went off to Walkaway Primary School and made friends with all the locals. Life was not easy for Lynn and the boys. I recall she would be off carting water, and when things were tight and no fuel, they would head down to the beach to have a bath. Nothing fazed Lynn, and I think Damon and Clayton developed that layback attitude from their mum. They were well behaved for Lynn and for me, as I used to babysit when Lynn attended trainings, and everyone else helped out on game night. But Deb, not always. To put it politely, they were little tigers. There were other words used, but we'll live with that one. Lynn was a character to her own on the basketball court. I don't think she ever understood the advantage of her height and would prefer to get possessions away from the basket. She would often get frustrated at her teammates as they with her, because they would prefer to give her the ball nearer to the net to score the easy basket. I remember one particular game when I had subbed Lynn off. She obviously didn't like my decision, and unbeknown to me, she went, bought a bourbon from the canteen, took up a seat in the grandstand on the opposite side of the court. I was about to sub Lynn back on the court, and it was then that I realised she'd taken a walk. No apologies needed. We moved on, as we always did, if things didn't go to Lynn's liking. Lynn was a dedicated team member and was always reliable at games and training. I will also add Lynn definitely was very keen for the after-match drinks and wind-ups. She was never one to shirk a busy bee or a fundraising event. Lynn made many friends in the basketball community. At some stage, I was the canteen manager for a couple of years, and we used to do the catering for the Buccaneer sponsor boxes. Every home game would be at the court Saturday morning, preparing food, carting drinks, and Lynn would be the one with the chaff bags of ice over her shoulder. She was an absolute trooper. Give her a task to do, and there was never a moment taken to consider it. She was off and would be back for the next chore. We often talk about our time together doing that. Memories shared with Sue Duggo, in charge of the servery, Jill the hot dog queen, Linny the chief chip cooker, and me as the platter filler. And let's not forget our handmaidens, Stacey and Kim, who served the food, always looking glamorous. Small things make special memories. Lynn defected for one season to Olympians, but it didn't take her long to realise that the mates she met in her early years in Gero were to remain friends forever. After a few years, Lynn had a run with the Hawks Women's 2 team and then a few runs in the infamous Hawks Ladies Vets team. And it was then that some of us, that it was decided on taking a team to the Masters Games in Sydney in 2009. Called the Gero Atrix, Lynn and I left Gero on the West Rail bus, but soon joined Gina, BJ and Meg for our flight to Sydney. Sue Douglas had organised a shuttle bus as our people mover and getting us to games on time. Fixtures were kind to us, allowing us to party every second night. Out to dinner one night with a couple of fellas in tow, and that was Lynn and Nikki and those single ones. Sitting at the dinner table and everyone was a bit like, who's going to tell her? Lynn had forgotten to put the plate with her teeth in. And then there was another night we went to the casino where you entered up a flight of stairs. We got ourselves settled with a drink and again Lynn realised she was missing her plate. Well, there we were, sheepishly trying to scour the carpeted floor, looking for those bloody teeth. We sort of spread out a little, trying not to be too obvious, but that didn't work and soon had some extra helpers. No luck in locating the teeth, we decided to backtrack to where we got out of the taxi. And Lynn decided that she wanted a durry, and lo and behold, put her hand in the bag, and there were the teeth. We all had a giggle, and not to be any more embarrassed, we ventured off to another drinking hole. One never knew for sure if Lynn was totally tuned in, and of course we were playing in our semi-final at the Games. And Lynn looked at our spectator base, and just like that, she decided she would execute a new shooting style, more like a netball shot of the 40s, just one arm up in the air and flick. Needless to say, it was an air ball. And as they say, water off a duck's back to Lynn. Lynn and my family also shared a passion in the Richmond Tigers, and I'm so pleased that Lynn, as my family have, got to witness some memorable wins over the last 3 years. I promise you, Lynnie, you will be with me at every match going forward. Go Tigers, yellow and black. Finally, a special thanks to our now seniors of the Hawks Basketball Club, who shared a morning tea, yes, cuppa and cakes, no alcohol and durries, with our gorgeous butterfly before she headed off to Perth for that last bash at killing that bastardly disease. And we all know it didn't work. So we're here today to farewell our beautiful friend who has impacted our lives in various ways, but none to be forgotten. Life is about making memories, and you created so many with us all. Flap those wings, beautiful butterfly, and enjoy the ride to the next chapter. Love you now and forever.
Thank you, Marilyn. Some special memories. Deborah and Sue, would you like to come forward?
Okay. Linda was our little sister, the youngest of 3 girls. We also have a wonderful brother, younger than us, but he comes along a bit later in Lynn's story. Lynn always said our childhood was a fairy tale, which she truly believed. Lynn was Mum and Dad's little spoilt baby, the favourite in some eyes. She loved our life of living in Ferntree Gully, Victoria, at the bottom of the hills with our devoted parents. Our childhood was spent trekking up those hills every weekend or riding horses. Our other childhood joy was going to stay at Rye on the Mornington Peninsula at our grandparents' holiday house with Auntie Trish and our cousins. We had days and days of beach, bush and boating. The photos you see today, the photos you see today of the 3 little girls were chosen with a lot of thought by our mother. Thank you, Mum. Being the youngest, Lynn was always tagging along with us and her sporting ability was evident then, as she kept up with all of us as we went on our adventures with all the other children in our street. When Lynn was about 11, we moved with our mum to Elwood, which is very close to Melbourne. Mum married Pete, who became our caring stepfather. He took us all on, and we all had some fun, happy days. Mum loved shopping, and Lynn inherited her skills at this. Lynn excelled at school, but was more of a country girl, so she moved back to Ferntree Gully to our fun-loving dad, who was so special to Lynn. And this is where she once again was able to ride her horse and meet up with her old friends. Dad had married Jude, our lovely stepmother, who was also a great companion, and Adam, our brother, was born. Adam was 3 at the time, and Lynn and he have remained very close. She treasured him. Lynn then had great times at Lake Eildon, where Dad, Jude, Adam and Wendy, Adam's wife, always ventured to at any chance they could. The Boat Club and people at Goffs Bay a particular favourite for them all. They had a lot of ventures between them, a lot of stories to be shared there. We all finished school, and Lynn married, de facto, twice, and had 3 beautiful boys, Simon, Clayton and Damon. She had moved to Echuca and then over to Geraldton, Western Australia, where Mum, stepfather Pete and Sue and I lived. Clayton and Damon, the twins, came with her. They were the most action-packed children we had ever encountered. They were wonderful, never a dull moment, even climbing onto the roof of her recently purchased house at a property in Greenough. They were 3. Lynn was calm and I was just distraught. Lynn was a very calm person. Perhaps it was her time in the garden with all type of tree, bush and flower. Her favourite plant in later years, the cacti, every cacti. Lynn loved gardening. Her other loves were basketball, as you know, and I think most of you are aware of her talent there. She loved writing poetry, her crystal and stone collection, an extensive collection of antiques including a lot of crockery, and of course Lynn loved food and laughter. She had a big infectious laugh. In her most recent years, she spoke a lot about her work. She enjoyed her work at the port driving a ship loader and working with the friends she acquired whilst there. She enjoyed their time working away with them. She told me towards the end that all she wanted to do was go to work and spend time in her garden, but this was not to be. In May 2020, Lynn was extremely unwell, but a wonderful event occurred. Her son Clayton and partner Catherine had a baby, a girl. Lynn was gifted a granddaughter. Her name carries on in her granddaughter, Amelia Linda. Lynn was absolutely charmed with the baby. Unfortunately, due to restrictions, Lynn was unable to meet her, but loved her FaceTime interactions. Lynn was also able to be with her 3 boys for the month of January. She brought everyone together and stayed at several apartments on the Geraldton coast. She had a lot of time with her 3 boys and enjoyed the joy it gave everyone. Her 3 boys were all special, with Damon being the one with Sue who cared for Lynn throughout all of 2020. They excelled at caring for Lynn. Clayton was also able to fly to WA to care for Lynn in her final weeks at home with them. Damon's partner Nicole was a great support. And a special mention to Lynn's best friend Fredo, her dog. He was very devoted. Knowing when Lynn was having a particularly hard day, he would not leave her side, growling if anyone got too close. And speaking of Fredo, one morning towards the end, we all got up, 3 of us in the house, with Lynn who felt unwell. And Fredo was boofing around the kitchen, totally getting in the way. I said, "Outside, Fredo, you're in the way a bit there." Lynn's response, "Why should he go outside? You go outside." That was Lynn. I had a little giggle and took Fredo out, and we both went for a long walk up the driveway and back. He was a big part of Lynn's life. Lynn was an extremely proud mother, caring sister and devoted daughter, mother and father, as well as to Judy, her stepmother, and Pete, her stepfather. She listened to everyone and rarely complained. She was the nicest, probably, of the 3 sisters. A genuine sister, daughter, mother and friend. Lynn had a special place in our extended family. She was very warm, carefree, cheeky and intelligent, but she had a natural outlook to life, very quirky at times. She was most comfortable in her garden, trees and open land. We will each remember her in our own special way as a very memorable lady. Lynn, thank you for trying to teach Sue and I to just slow down and smell the flowers. Thank you. Well, thanks for coming. I got through it.
Thank you, Deborah. When I met Linda earlier this year, I was struck with her friendliness, her effervescent character, and noted her love for the beauty of nature and all things bright. Today we honour Linda's character with many bright and wonderful flowers and a coffin that grabbed her. That's the one, she said, and we all thought so too. Whilst Linda was unwell when we met, strength and bravery was true to her spirit. While she certainly would have had times of sadness, she put herself forward with integrity to herself. Let us remember Linda's strong times, even when life was at its hardest. May we now spend a few moments in quiet reflection of Lynn and how she has touched your life while we watch her photos and listen to Old Friends Bookends by Simon and Garfunkel.
Old friends, sat on their park bench like bookends. A newspaper blown through the grass falls on the round toes of the high shoes of the old friends. Old friends, winter companions, the old men, lost in their overcoats, waiting for the sunset. The sounds of the city sifting through trees settle like dust on the shoulders of the old friends. Can you imagine us years from today, sharing a park bench quietly? How terribly strange to be 70. Old friends, memory brushes the same years, silently sharing the same fear. And what a time it was, a time of innocence, a time of confidences. Long ago it must be, I have a photograph. Preserve your memories, they're all that's left you. sat on their park bench like bookends. A newspaper blown through the grass falls on the round toes of the high shoes of the old friends. Old friends, winter companions, the old men, lost in their overcoats, waiting for the sunset. The sounds of the city sifting through trees settle like dust on the shoulders of the old friends. Can you imagine us years from today, sharing a park bench quietly? How terribly strange to be 70. Old friends, memory brushes the same years, silently sharing the same fear. And what a time it was, it was a time of innocence, a time of confidences. Long ago it must be, I have a photograph. Preserve your memories, they're all that's left you.
Lots of good memories. I would now like to share a poem, and this has been chosen from Jude, is that right? Jude Campbell, Linda's stepmom. Whoever makes a garden has never worked alone. The rain has always found it, the sun has always known. The wind has blown across it and helped to scatter seeds. Whoever makes a garden has all the help he needs. Whoever makes a garden should surely not complain. Without someone like sunshine and someone like the rain and someone like the breeze to aid him in his toil, and someone like the Father who gave the garden soil. Whoever makes a garden has oh so many friends, the glory of the morning, the dew when daylight ends. For rain and wind and sunshine and dew and fertile sod, and he who makes a garden works hand in hand with the earth. We now have an opportunity for those present to come forward and share with us if you would like to. After the service, the family invite you to join them at the Geraldton Yacht Club to share food, drinks and many more memories with them. Ladies and gentlemen, our ceremony for Lynn is almost concluded and we now have to say a loving and tender final farewell to her. We are deeply grateful for Lynn's life and for all that life has meant to you. We thank her for the impact of her life on yours. We remember her smile, her love of life and her character. We remember the fun times and the hard times, the struggles and the triumphs. Linda Diane Mitchell, may your soul rest in peace. Family followed by friends are now invited to come forward and place some petals on Lynn's coffin as we say a final farewell. I welcome those watching to light a candle in your home in honour of Lynn. And thank you all for your attendance here today.
Yeah, I just wanna feel this way forever. How we did when we were young. Yeah, I know I've been changing. Your life's been rearranging. Those times were golden, but I couldn't hold them all at once. I lost that moment, but now I got it back. Yeah, I ain't gonna give it up.
Yeah. You know, growing up happens so fast. And you only get your first times once. Those moments are special. Like your first breath, first step, first chick, first kiss, first time in love, first time on drugs, the first time I heard pop, the first time it's all new, the first time the earth stopped, the first time I saw you. Yeah, those moments I'll always hold on to, forever stained in my brain in a golden hue. Like when I was a kid just dreaming of the things I built. Those autumn leaves would cover my hood in a crimson quilt. The world was mine and that memory of my home still triggered by the smell of fresh snow and pine cones. Those early days of the six packs and stimulants, before the demons came and kidnapped my innocence, before life swept me up and I was hurled in, and I lost pieces of myself up in this whirlwind. But I had to find them again, cause they're the miracle that took me from feeling invisible to invincible. Yeah,
I just wanna feel this way forever. How we did when we were young. Yeah, I know I've been changing. Your life's been rearranging. Those times were golden, but I couldn't hold them all at once. I lost that moment, but now I got it back. Yeah, I ain't gonna give it up. Oh, get up. Yeah, I ain't gonna give it up. But now I got it back. Yeah, I ain't gonna give it up.
See, I remember how it felt making paper planes, pretending I was Superman so I could save the day. I swear that I would see Santa if I could stay awake, and finding ways to fly away was like my great escape. An only child, a single mother, a small apartment, didn't have that silver spoon, but we were always laughing, staring at the clouds, chatting for hours, where a simple smell lets me time travel through flowers. And I'm happy, I believe in everything happens for a reason, cause if your angel dies and the world's crashing through your ceiling, hopefully you know you own a map to your own freedom. Realize tears dry and it's a natural way of healing, yo.
Yeah, I just wanna feel this way forever. How we did when we were young. Yeah, I know I've been changing. Your life's been rearranging. Those times were golden, but I couldn't hold them all at once. I lost that moment, but now I got it back. Yeah, I ain't gonna give it up. Oh, get up. Yeah, I ain't gonna give it up. Now I got it back. Yeah, I ain't gonna give it up. It up. I ain't gonna give it up. It up. Well, I ain't gonna give it up.
they say time is precious.
And there's no going back.
Shit, if I could only unfreeze this photograph and dive in the windows of my eyes
To feel how I felt inside, right in that moment in time, I'd
bring it all back to life.
So fuck the money, cars, and accessories.
Cause the only thing we take to our grave is our memories.
I said fuck the money, clothes, and accessories. Cause the only thing we really own is our memories,
Yeah.